Let's get started on iscsi multipathing and iscsi naming. An iscsi storage area network, as you know, is made up of standard gigabit Ethernet switches to connect ESXi hosts to disk arrays. And at this example, you can see there is only one connection from this ESXi host to this switch. So if we were to get a cable break right here, then that ESXi host would lose its connectivity to the disk array. If this cable going to the disk array were to break, then all of the ESXi hosts would lose their connection to the disk array. This is why we have multipathing. Multipathing algorithms are used when you have multiple network interface cards in the disk array and in the ESXi host, and that gives us multiple paths to the disk array. ESXi includes multipathing algorithms which provide fault tolerance and load balancing. If we look at the vSphere web client and select storage, under Data Store 1, under Settings, under Connectivity and Multipathing, if we edit multipathing, we can see there are 3 multipathing algorithms. Most recently used, round robin, and fixed. And of course you can see that the multipathing policy we're using right now is fixed, and that's because we only have one network interface card connecting the ESXi host to the disk array. Now let's look at storage naming conventions. Let's look at the iscsi target name and the runtime name. We'll start out with the iscsi target name. If we look under configuration and we select the iscsi software adapter followed by properties, we will see a target name of IQN 2001.synology.com. This is what's called the iscsi qualified name. If we look at the VMware documentation, we see that the iscsi name identifies a particular iscsi element, and the components include IQN, the year and month, and this is the year and month when the naming authority was established, the naming authority, which is usually written in reverse syntax of the internet domain name, and unique name, and that is any name that you want to use as an identifier for that disk array. So here's an example of a disk array that I am using, which is made by a company called Synology. Let's look at the components of this iscsi qualified name. IQN stands for iscsi qualified name. 2000 is the year the company was issued the DNS domain name. 01 is the month the company was issued the DNS domain name. .com is the top level domain name, and Synology is the name of the company. DiskStation.2 .name1 is the host name, meaning the name of the disk array. There is something called the Extended Unique Identifier, and if we look at the VMware documentation, we can see the EUI, Extended Unique Identifier, is a number assigned by IEEE, the Institute of Electronic and Electric Engineers, as a unique ID, such as serial number. The EUI, Extended Unique Identifier, is a unique identifier assigned to the hard disk by IEEE, and it's similar to the MAC address on a network interface card. If we look at the iscsi software adapter for our iscsi host, we can see the IQN, iscsi qualified name. Let me just zoom in on that. If I zoom in on it, we can see IQN 1998-01.com VMware : ESXi 11 dash the EUI name. So here is how we would interpret that name. IQN stands for iscsi qualified name. 1998 was the year that VMware was issued its DNS domain name. 01 is the month the company was issued the DNS domain name. .com is the top level domain name, and VMware is the name of the company. ESXi 11 is the name of the host, and this number here, 73C417956, is the EUI, the Extended Unique Identifier, the number that uniquely identifies the hard disk within the ESXi. Now, let's discuss Runtime Name. If we look under the details for the virtual machine host bus adapter, we will see it has a runtime name, VMHBA1:C0:T32:L0. If we look at the online documentation, we can see that the runtime name is the name of the first path to the device, and it has the following syntax: VMHBA, which is host bus adapter, C is the channel number, T is the target number, and L is the LUN. So here is an example of a runtime name. The VMHBA1 means it is the first host bus adapter. C1 means it is a C0 means it is channel 0, T1 means target 1, and L1 means LUN 1. Storage naming conventions. The iscsi target, or IQN, takes the form, as you can see, IQN followed by the date, followed by the domain name, followed by the name of the company. And then the runtime name takes the format VM host bus adapter number, channel number, target, and local area and LUN number. And this concludes our section on storage naming conventions.